In this video, we're going to talk about why documentation is absolutely killing your culture if you allow it to. So a lot of owners right now, they have some staff members that are able to come in, treat their patients, do their notes, go home. While others are coming in and they're seeing their patients, but they're not able to get their notes done. And here's what happens. Owners frustrated, the staff member who's not getting their notes done is getting overwhelmed, because if you think about it, what's the difference between overwhelm and burnout? So overwhelm is like when you have a cup of coffee and you keep pouring stuff into it and you're like, no, I'm good. And they're like, no, you need more coffee. And they're like, no, seriously, I'm like really good. And they're like, no, you need more coffee. And then all of a sudden it's overflowing, it's on the table and you're like, dude, like I can't see any more patients and do more notes because I'm like 3 weeks behind on my notes. And then eventually burnout, what that is like if you have, picture like a candle here, and that candle wick just starts to die out and there's literally nothing more to give. And a lot of times overwhelm is a symptom precursor to burnout, because when people get so overwhelmed, they're gonna get to the point where like, you know what, I can't take anymore. I have nothing else to get, this is crazy. But I want you guys to understand is that like, we have to ask ourselves this question. Is it a company issue or is it an individual issue? And that's a very important question to ask when someone isn't getting their notes done. Now, one thing you need to understand, problems, solutions, right? You have a problem, you have a solution, creates a new problem, come up with a new solution. I'm not full, now I'm full. My team can't get their notes done, how do I get the notes done? It happens all the time, right? And then, oh, hey, because a lot of our clients go from like, hey, we're not full, to now they're full, and they're like, well, now I can't get evals in, right? We have to book out. We're not know where to put people, right? So a lot of times you just need to understand that like, as you solve problems, you're gonna create other ones. So when people get full, they typically start getting into an issue where their team members aren't getting their documentation done. So we have to ask ourselves, go back to the question, is this a company issue? Or is this an individual issue? And the reason why I ask that is that like, well, from a company standpoint, if you have multiple providers, we start to look at this thing where we talk about 10%. Now, if 10% of our providers aren't getting their notes done, right? Maybe we have to start looking at this a little bit more. Maybe it is a company issue. A lot of times it's the EMR, right? So a lot of times they're just not set up for success. We're working on an old clunky system. There's a lot of good EMRs out there that you're able to go and work with. They have, AI features now, scheduling features now, templates, prompts, so on and so forth. If you really think about it, there's no reason for someone not to be able to get their notes done now, unless they're spending way too much time documenting, right? They're way too thorough, or what they're doing is they're not doing like a point of service documentation where they're not documenting or charting when they're with the patient. They're just kind of going off and just seeing all the patients, letting them all stockpile and then trying to get them done. But the day's over, so they just go home, right? So it might be a productivity or efficiency thing, right? So we, as a company, we need to make sure that we're setting people up for success, okay? Now, the other thing to understand is just like, are we also having patients do like, multiple evals a day, like 5 or 6 evals? And are we double and triple booking them? Like, of course they're not going to get their notes done, because there's like not anywhere physically possible for them to be able to do like 30 appointments in a day. Like, how do you expect them to get their notes done when you just keep filling their cup of coffee with more coffee and they didn't even drink the one that they already gave them, right? So you got to think about it. Is this a company issue first and foremost? Second, when it is starting to lean over towards just an individual issue, we just need to understand why some people struggle to get their notes done. Right? Sometimes it could be like, well, they're just not technology sound, right? Some of your older therapists and stuff like that, the newer EMRs, they can't work on it. So they're not productive, and you need them to become productive. You probably just need some more training. A good onboarding and training process might work for them. The other thing though too, to take it a step deeper, is that we have to understand that some people just don't look at this as a unique ability. Some people are just like, hey, I'm really good at documenting. I might not like to do it, but I'm really good at it. So it's one of those things where it's just like, it's low energy for people, but it's just like, I know it's a requirement. I need to get my notes done. And other individuals are like, this is a low energy activity and I'm just gonna push it off as long as I can until the owner starts leaning in and like, you need to get your notes done or you don't work here anymore. And that's where a lot of times people get to, and there's all this animosity that's building up. And that's why when I started this video, I talked about like how documentation is killing your culture. Because if you think about it, it's just like the owner's frustrated because they're not getting the provider's not getting notes done. The owner's not getting paid because the notes aren't being finished. We had some clients with providers that have over 400 to 500 notes out at a time. It's just like, how do you even remember what to put in for those sessions? And now we're running into a compliance issue. So not only do we have an owner issue, we have a company issue, right? Compliance issue. The other thing is your other staff members, your other providers are waiting for those eval and provider notes to get done, right? So it's like, I can't get my notes done until they close out their eval appointment. So what do a lot of owners do when that happens? The owners are like, don't put any new evals on her schedule. So now, or his schedule. So now all of a sudden they're trying to come up with these different rules instead of values, right? You're running a rules-based business instead of value-based business in order to like manipulate the schedule so they don't see any evals. So what does that do? You put all the evals over on your other providers and now they're frustrated because they're doing more providers. Crazy stuff. And then ultimately what we start to look at is the provider themselves. They're not getting their notes done. They're overwhelmed because they're trying to do them at nighttime and the weekend. And then also you're gonna start to put more rules on them. If you don't get your notes done in 24 hours, I'm gonna have to write you up. Or if you don't get your notes done in 72 hours, I'm writing you up. And again, it's a rule-based business, right? We're trying to run off of rules. Now, a value-based business is like when you walk in, you say, hey, one of our core values, speed is king, right? So what we wanna do here is we wanna tell people that like, hey, when we have the core value of speed is king, the expectation is to get your notes done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So now that individual who's not getting their notes done, not only is it a productivity issue, and now it is a core value issue because speed is king is one of our core values. They're not getting their notes done, which is causing productivity issues. So not only are we not productive, but we also have a core value issue, which is in theory is a tier 4 employee, which we usually start moving those people out of our company. Now, we're not here to fire anybody at the moment. What I'm trying to say here with these individuals is that we really want to get to the root cause of why they're struggling to get their notes done. Because right now, it's not only affecting the company, but it's affecting your other patients, and it's affecting your patients, or excuse me, your other providers. It's also affecting your patients because no one knows what the heck to do with them if the other patients or providers, or excuse me, the other providers see them. It's just like, we need you to get your notes done so we know what's going on here. So one of the things that we like to do is make sure that we link up with that individual. We go ahead and set them up with a re-onboarding. So we make sure we set expectations very, very clearly. We retrain them and we make sure that they know exactly what the measurement expectations is, the time frame around it. They understand what our values are. Speed is king, communication's queen, gotta get our notes done. This is what that looks like. And then also give them some support. If they're not able to turn things around, well, then we might have to go in a different direction because it's going to kill your culture if you don't nip this in the bud, okay? So one of the easiest things to do going forward is to make sure everybody understands the expectations of getting their notes done, and then also making sure that you guys are holding them accountable. And all accountability is just measure to make sure that they're getting their notes done. So if they got 100 notes that they're due and they did all 100, they got 100% completion rate, life is good. And then you want to provide feedback. Feedback is the key. That's the multiplier. So even if they got all their notes done, you have to give praise and recognition so that they could keep getting their notes done on time, right? Don't set it as an expectation and not give praise or recognition because they will perform better once you start giving them that appreciation, I guarantee it. So appreciate you guys. If you had value inside of this video, go ahead and click the follow and subscribe button. And if you guys want to learn about more strategies in order to improve your company culture, feel free to click the link to speak with our team inside of the description section. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care.